Bonjour à vous tous, je suis Daniel Heydt, je suis le maire de Bellange, une petite commune
I am
de Moselle.
Daniel Bellange, Heydt,
Je n'ai pas pour
mayor of a
habitude de
small
parler devant
community in
un
France.
auditoire aussi impressionnant.
I'm not used to
D'habitude,
talk to such
j'interviens
an
devant mon conseil
important
municipal qui est
audience.
constitué de
I'm used to
9
talk
personnes.
to my
Donc,
9
merci
people
de votre
city
compréhension.
council and not more.
Jacques Cheminade m'a demandé
Jacques
ce
Cheminade
matin
asked
de
me
traiter
this
le sujet
morning
de
to
l'impact de la
deal
crise
the
financière
subject of
à
the
l'international
impact
sur
of the
les
financial
communes françaises.
crisis into the local
Moi,
communities.
personnellement, j'aurais
Personally,
un petit,
I
j'essayerai
would
de faire le plus court possible.
I will try to be as short as possible
Aller se restaurer.
so that we can have a break.
Mon propos va s'articuler sur 3 points.
I will insist on 3 points. First of all, to present my community. Second,
La réforme territoriale.
the,
Le deuxième
the,
point, ce sera la réforme
the redistricting of France, the territorial reform,
pour excuse officielle
with
la crise
official
mondiale,
excuse,
économique.
which is the world economy and the
Quelques
crisis.
rapides
And
pistes
thirdly,
de réflexion.
some
Mais avant tout,
tracks of reflection.
moi, je souhaiterais
Before everything, what I wish
l'on applaudisse toute la salle.
is that we
Parce que
applaud
moi,
the whole
hier,
room,
je
because since
suis
yesterday,
vraiment,
I'm really
impressionné par la
impressed
qualité
by the quality
de tout ce qui est fait,
of everything which
par le
is
travail de tous
accomplished,
les militants,
by the work of all the
qui
militants,
sont les militants
which
de
are
la
the
Rouge,
militants of La Rouche, of
et qui
Cheminade,
travaillent
and
sur
which
ces
work
sujets-là.
on all these subjects in the same time.
Tous.
So let's give them applause, a warm applause.
Vous le méritez bien, hein, sincèrement.
You really
Moi,
merit, it.
Avant toute chose,
Before everything
je
else,
voudrais, débuter aussi
I
mon
want to
propos
start my
en-
speech
en évoquant les
by
raisons qui poussent les
calling
maires de
calling the
communes
mayors
françaises,
of local
comme moi,
communities
par exemple,
like
souvent
myself,
des petites maires parce qu'on n'est pas
what's
associé à
called
des
the
partis,
small mayors, which are
de
operating outside the
répondre à la
parties,
bière, à la-
which would
et donc, des
parties
maires
which
de
try to impose
communes
party discipline. We escape from that system,
viennent Jacques Cheminade.
and mayors which are giving their signature to present Cheminade for the presidential election.
Question parmi mes collègues maires présents.
So I interrogated my colleague mayors here in the room.
Cheminade, pour nous,
Jacques Cheminade, for us, is the only candidate to have a serious program which is credible, which is realized, which is based on the lessons of the past, which is obviously very important, because life is nothing but a perpetual re-beginning. So if we take the best things of the past, it's good.
Tout simple. Donc, en France, par contre,
In France,
on nous
on
demande
the other
de
side,
faire soit à droite, soit à gauche.
we're
Et en
called
fait,
to be left-wing or
que ce
right-wing,
soit la droite ou la gauche,
and what we see is that
ne propose que des solutions.
these big parties, Socialist Party, UMP, have no solutions. They only want to promote their own party system to go along with the system itself,
Pour faire le bonheur
which
de
is
quelques-uns,
which is a system in service of a tiny handful of people,
personnellement, je vais
which
essayer
have already
ce
everything.
propos. Je travaille
I
dans-
want to
dans un
develop
groupe,
this.
depuis,
I
4
work
ans,
in a group
une grosse entreprise
of
dirigée par,
a
une
firm
présidente.
developed by
Depuis
a president.
2010, nous
Beginning
étions 600 salariés.
2010, we were 700 employees.
Nous avons racheté un groupe aussi gros que
At-
notre de 500 salariés.
In 2010, the firm bought another firm of the same size, which was less performing, but which
Donc, comme
was,
ils gagnaient moins d'argent, c'est nous qui les avons rachetés.
so we bought them up.
Un an après,
1 year later,
on est plus
the company,
500 plus 700.
we're not 500
salariés.
plus
On
700,
n'est même plus 1100 salariés.
we're not
On est plus
1100,
juste 1000 salariés.
we're only 1,000,
Donc, on voit
and it's not finished. So
ce qui s'est passé.
people have been fired.
On supprime pour
Firms
le
and
bien
companies are
de
regrouped,
personnes, pratiquement.
fusions and acquired,
Salariés, loin de
and the employees are
Et aujourd'hui, en
getting the
2011,
damage.
in
In 2011,
puissant.
we're still more powerful than in 2010. So we're going to buy new competitors. We're going to buy them up. We're the second company in this area in France. We're going to become the first to be the maximum profit. And obviously, we're going to destroy jobs. The Sarkozy government could have put its opposition on such operations. They didn't do it. On the contrary, this was a way for one person to gain more money and even give it to private operations. Let's go back to Cheminade. The second point I want to bring up is his credibility. This was the only candidate in 2007, was the only candidate who said that an international crisis would break out already in 2007. Unfortunately, he was right. In September 2008, the Sarkozy government told the people they didn't see coming anything, that you had to tighten your belt. They better would have consulted Jacques Cheminade instead of consulting Jacques Chirac. The third point is that Cheminade, it's common sense. I came with another mayor, which is a farmer. It's the common sense of farmers. We do simple things which work. For example, large infrastructure programs, we know that's working. This is efficient. It's good. We should do it. Jacques Cheminade is fighting, like all his militants here present, for the good of all. And that's very important. These are some of the good reasons which make that I support him, and that, happily enough, other mayors are willing to give their signatures to back this candidate. Since I have the chance to be on this tribune speaking to you, I also want to congratulate and he's calling for a second applause, this time for Jacques Cheminade. So let's look now to my community. It's a little village, 62 inhabitants, Bellange. We were 45 before I became mayor. So we launched a big demographic boom. We have 33 citizens more. We have 4 farms. One time I went to the ministry, he said, how can 62 people operate 4 farms? Of course, the ministry, they don't know anything about our villages. There's another specificity. In 2004, we're not connected to internet. So we developed a project with the ministry to get internet through the normal electricity circuit, which is called a CPL, it's a technical term. So the big city, which has internet, and we bring the internet connection through a Wi-Fi connection and then put it through the normal electricity system. For 10 euros per month, the inhabitants have a decoder. For one village has one connection, and the whole village is connected to internet. It costs 10 euros per month. We have our great wealth are the citizens of the village, which voluntarily they put flowers, they do the feasts, they organize activities. These are people which took charge of their own environment of living. The French state is redistricting the national territories for economies of scale. After having privatized the highways, the water, the electricity, most services to the public, I evoked this thing with the company for which I worked. In a couple of months I will take my retirement, but we see how the private firms operate. A minimum of spending for a maximum of profit. The French state has as an objective to suppress, between now and 2020, to suppress at least half of the commune. In exchange, we will have intercommunalities so-called to reduce spending. I say this is a lie. The only aim and goal is to develop the profits of private companies, of which these huge mega communes will use. The citizens will be demotivated to take part in the public life. There will be only voters scotched before their TV set. They should not think anymore. Intellectually, artistically, people should not cultivate themselves. They should not think any longer. Let me give you another example. Some time ago, 5 years ago, the garbage were collected by a service operated by 15 communes. The price per inhabitants was 29 euros per year. 5 years later, the intercommunality took over this service, took it over. Today, the citizen pays 92 euros for the same service, which means nearly 4 times more. So we see how the citizen is despised to allow private companies to prosper. This territorial reform will destroy and take down all the intercommunal structures which were operating among communes for education, transport, and so forth, to be replaced by privatized racketeering. The third part of my intervention, which are some ideas for the future. First, personally, I try to apply in my commune. First of all the speakers mentioned it, transparency. To put for Bellange, it's easy to be transparent. All the spending by the commune are posted on internet. Any citizen, wherever he is in the world, can know what the commune is spending line by line, post by post. No global budgets, but the detail. Each time you open your purse, you see what we're buying. When I discovered this movement, I was like a chicken who came out of the egg and who was completely astonished. So, back to this internet. First of all, I was hesitating to put all this information on the internet about the budget. I was afraid that the citizens would turn against me and they would criticize me. So I hesitated some days, and then I went into motion immediately, and then naturally my behavior changed. I started thinking before doing all the spending. I thought I started self-regulating myself, because I know that everybody will have a judgment on me. Anybody in this room which goes on the website of my commune will see all the spending. And they will say, "Hey, Daniel, you're a nice guy, but there you went to the restaurant. Why did you go to the restaurant? What did you spend for?" The fear to be criticized by others. There's nothing worse than your neighbor, which went on the internet and saw what you spent. You fear we will throw stones on your head. So I say the transparency is a good, it's profitable. Every commune can do it. Technically, it's perfectly feasible. The second thought I present you is to limit mandates. elected mandates.
Une seule fois dans sa vie.
You need to be elected only one time for a limited time span.
Il faut pas en faire un métier.
It should not become a profession.
Alors là, tout à l'heure, on parlait d'idées révolutionnaires.
We were talking about revolutionary ideas. This is also a revolutionary idea.
Sincèrement, cette proposition, j'ai eu du mal à comment l'expliquer.
I had difficulties to explain this, but yesterday, listening to a speech, I came to it. What you are doing, you are doing by looking into the past, what I saw is, I looked at things and I said, I know. And when you're doing something, there are three parts of doing it. The first is to learn how to do it. The learning, that's important. You don't produce, you learn, you discover, you penetrate your spirit. It takes one idea. It can take one day or several months. Obviously, it depends on the difficulty of the thing you want to do and the intelligence of the person you are. The second phase is a type of activity which you could call optimal. You're the most productive. It can do. It can be over 1 year or 2 years, but then you lose your productivity. It can take 5 years or 10 years, according to the activities. The third phase is a period of which is called fatigue. There's less production, you're less creative. Then you have to step down and leave your post to somebody, a newcomer, which can be more productive. So you have to learn how to transmit your mission. You can militate the whole life. That is, my generation of boomers is unable to do. The proof is I'm still mayor of Bellange. I'm doing everything to stop being it. If it's in the genes of man, that once he has power, he wants to keep it, we can say that devils are pushing man to keep power. It's not his fault. The X, Y, and Z generation, they and the Z, they are fantastic people. They have to take over. If we don't leave them the place, we will have terrible problems. To finish my contribution, I'm very happy to have followed all these debates over the 2 days, because I met here persons which are very, very high-level people I saw on the podium or in the room. And it's your passion which is so admirable, and it's that what is important and which allows you to do exceptional progress. Bravo to all. Thanks for your attention.